At 68, Linda considered herself a healthy eater. She avoided fast food, cooked most meals at home, and always said yes to fruits and vegetables. But despite her efforts, she began noticing something odd. Her thoughts felt cloudy. She'd forget what she walked into a room for. She struggled to find the right words in conversations. Her daughter gently asked, "Mom, have you been feeling different lately?" Linda brushed it off. "Just getting older, I guess." But age wasn't the only thing at play. What Linda didn't know, what many people over 60 don't know, is that certain everyday foods, even the ones that seem healthy, can slowly affect brain function. Not overnight, not dramatically, but quietly, consistently. Until one day you realize your mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. In this video, we'll reveal 7 foods that many older adults eat regularly, that may be harming their brain more than helping it. And for each one, you'll meet a real-life character like Linda, someone who thought they were eating right until the truth became clear. If you or someone you love is over 60, you'll want to pay close attention, because the foods on this list aren't exotic or rare. They're probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Let's begin with the one that's most deceptive of all. Paul loved his morning routine. At 71, he woke up early, brewed a cup of black coffee, and sat on his porch with a small bowl of fruit yogurt. Blueberry was his favorite. It felt like a healthy choice. After all, yogurt has probiotics, and fruit is good for you, right? But what Paul didn't realize was this: that little cup of fruit yogurt had more added sugar than a glazed donut. And that sugar, it wasn't just bad for his waistline, it was quietly damaging his brain. High sugar intake, especially from refined sugars like those found in flavored yogurts, leads to inflammation in the brain. Over time, this inflammation affects memory, focus, and even increases the risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. In Paul's case, the fogginess crept in slowly. He started forgetting where he parked. Then he mixed up his appointments. His doctor ran tests. Nothing looked serious, but the truth was in his breakfast bowl. The problem isn't yogurt itself. It's the kind that's loaded with sugar and artificial flavors, disguised as healthy. So what's the better option? Paul made one simple change. He switched to plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt and added a few fresh blueberries himself. No syrup, no artificial color, just real food. And within weeks, he noticed a difference. Clearer thinking, better energy, no sugar crashes mid-morning. The takeaway? Sometimes the foods marketed as healthy are the most misleading, especially when it comes to your brain. Next up, a favorite sandwich ingredient that can weaken memory with every bite. Every Friday, Tom treated himself to his favorite lunch, a thick ham sandwich with mustard, cheese, and a dill pickle on the side. At 73, it was his little ritual. Quick, tasty, familiar. But over the last few months, Tom noticed something off. He felt slower, not just physically but mentally. He'd pause mid-sentence, lose track of conversations, or forget names he'd known for years. He thought it was stress, or maybe just getting older. But part of the problem was sitting right between those 2 slices of bread. Processed deli meats like ham, salami, bologna, and turkey slices are often packed with nitrates, preservatives, and sodium. These compounds may keep the meat fresh longer, but they come at a cost to your brain. Studies have linked high consumption of processed meats to increased inflammation in the brain, oxidative stress, and even changes in brain structure, particularly in areas responsible for memory and decision-making. One major culprit? Nitrosamines, chemical compounds that can form during processing. They've been shown to damage blood vessels, including those that supply the brain, and impair insulin regulation in the brain, which is critical for cognitive function. Tom's neurologist didn't prescribe a new medication. Instead, she asked him to keep a food journal. That's when the truth became clear. His beloved sandwich was slowly draining his clarity. So Tom made a switch. He replaced his deli meats with fresh, grilled chicken breast or mashed avocado with boiled eggs. He started reading labels, avoiding anything with sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite, or cured. Within a month, he felt more alert. His afternoon brain fog faded, and even his blood pressure improved. The problem isn't the sandwich, it's what you put inside it. If you or someone you love regularly eats deli meats, it's worth a second look. Because when it comes to your brain, preserved doesn't mean protected. Next, we'll look at a beloved afternoon beverage that may be stealing your sleep and your sharpness. Sandra was never much of a coffee drinker until she retired. At 66, her afternoons felt long, and a warm cup of coffee became part of her daily routine around 3 or 4 p.m. It gave her a little boost, kept her going through crossword puzzles, chores, and emails to her kids. But lately, she'd been feeling different. She couldn't sleep, not just falling asleep, but staying asleep. And in the morning, her thoughts felt fuzzy. She forgot why she walked into rooms, lost track of small tasks, and felt constantly off. Her doctor ran a few basic tests. Nothing serious. Maybe it's just age, Sandra said, but the culprit was subtler and more familiar than she expected. Late-day caffeine. Most people know coffee can disrupt sleep, but what they don't realize is that caffeine has a half-life of up to 8 hours. That means if Sandra drank coffee at 3 p.m., half the caffeine could still be in her system at 11 p.m. And for older adults, the effects are even more pronounced. As we age, our bodies metabolize caffeine more slowly. The nervous system becomes more sensitive. So what felt like a mild energy boost in her 40s now lingered late into the night, silently robbing her of deep restorative sleep. And that's the key. Deep sleep is when the brain detoxifies. It clears out waste, restores memory functions, and repairs cells. Without it, the brain becomes more prone to fog, forgetfulness, and even long-term cognitive decline. Sandra never thought her brain fog and restlessness could be tied to a single cup of coffee. But after cutting caffeine after 1 p.m., something changed. Her sleep improved. She woke up clearer, brighter, calmer. She still enjoyed coffee, but moved it to mornings only. In the afternoons, she switched to herbal tea or simply water with lemon. Because the secret isn't giving up comfort. It's knowing when your comfort becomes a cost. Ever since his wife passed, Gerald, 75, had been cooking for himself. Nothing fancy. Mostly frozen meals, canned soups, and packaged stir-fry kits from the grocery store. They were convenient, cheap, and didn't take much effort. He figured, it's just food. As long as I'm eating something, I'm fine. But over time, Gerald's hands started trembling slightly. His mind felt slower, his balance a bit unsteady. His daughter assumed it was early Parkinson's or mild stroke symptoms. But all scans came back clear. What no one expected was that the problem wasn't in his brain directly. It was in his pantry, specifically in the vegetable oils used in nearly every packaged meal he was eating. Oils like canola, soybean, corn, sunflower, and safflower sound healthy. After all, they're from vegetables, right? But the truth is, these highly processed oils are often loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, which in excess promote chronic inflammation, including in the brain. And inflammation is one of the leading causes of neurodegeneration, cognitive slowdown, and mood disorders. Unlike healthy fats like olive oil or omega-3s from fish, vegetable oils in processed foods are often oxidized during high heat processing. This creates free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells, including neurons. Gerald didn't need a new prescription. He needed a new grocery list. With his daughter's help, he started preparing simple meals at home using extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil. He avoided frozen meals that listed vegetable oil or hydrogenated oil near the top of the ingredients list. After a few weeks, he felt more energetic. His thinking felt sharper. Even his balance improved. The brain is made of nearly 60% fat, so the fats you eat, good or bad, become part of your brain. Gerald still keeps frozen meals in his freezer, but now he checks every label, because convenience isn't worth sacrificing clarity. Next, we'll look at a sweetener found in your kitchen, and what it's really doing to your memory. Marie had always had a sweet tooth. At 70, she no longer baked pies like she used to, but she still enjoyed her routine. A cookie or two after lunch, a small dessert after dinner, and sweetened creamer in her morning coffee. It's just a little sugar, she'd say with a smile. I've earned it. But then came the forgetfulness. First, it was small things, like misplacing her reading glasses. Then she started repeating questions she'd already asked just moments earlier. Her daughter grew concerned. Marie shrugged it off. It's just aging. But beneath those quiet cravings, something else was happening. Refined sugar, especially when consumed daily, can have a profound effect on the brain. It causes blood sugar spikes and crashes, triggering inflammation and oxidative stress in brain tissue. Over time, this damages neurons and weakens the connections responsible for memory, attention, and learning. High sugar diets have also been linked to a greater risk of insulin resistance in the brain, a condition now often referred to as type 3 diabetes, a possible contributor to Alzheimer's disease. Marie's doctor recommended a simple change, not to remove sweetness entirely, but to switch the source. She began using cinnamon and nutmeg for flavor. She swapped her cookies for fruit and dark chocolate, and she cut her added sugar intake by half, starting with her coffee creamer. Within a month, the difference was noticeable. She was less foggy, more focused, and didn't feel that afternoon energy crash anymore. The brain runs on glucose, but not the kind found in soda, cookies, or corn syrup. What it needs is stable, slow-burning fuel, not roller coaster spikes. Marie still enjoys sweet things, but now she does it consciously, not out of habit, because when sweetness comes at the cost of memory, it stops being a treat and starts becoming a threat. Next, we'll uncover a popular brain food that might not be helping you as much as you think, especially if it's not what it claims to be. Daniel, 69, had seen the headlines. Omega-3s are good for your brain. So he did what many people do. He picked up a bottle of fish oil from the drugstore and started taking it every morning, along with a few frozen fish fillets he kept in the freezer aisle. I'm doing everything right, he thought, but his memory was still slipping. He struggled to stay focused when reading, and at times his thoughts felt sluggish. The surprising part? Daniel wasn't missing omega-3s. He was using the wrong kind and eating the wrong fish. Many commercial fish oils are oxidized before you even open the bottle. They sit on warm store shelves for months, degrading in quality. By the time you take them, they may be filled with rancid fats, which do more harm than good. Worse, some frozen or canned white fish like tilapia or farmed basa have very little omega-3 and are often raised on grain-based feed, which throws off their fat balance. Instead of reducing brain inflammation, Daniel's routine was potentially increasing it. After speaking to a nutritionist, he made a shift. He began eating wild-caught fatty fish, like salmon or sardines, twice a week. He stopped using cheap supplements and switched to third-party tested, refrigerated fish oil with clear EPA/DHA content. He also added flaxseed and walnuts for plant-based support. Within weeks, Daniel's mind felt sharper. He described it like someone wiped the fog off the window. The truth is, omega-3s are essential, but source and freshness matter. Relying on low-quality pills or eating processed fish isn't enough. Your brain is built on fat. Give it the right kind and it rewards you with clarity. Daniel still takes fish oil, but now he chooses it like it matters, because for your brain it does. Up next, the final food on our list, one that seems innocent, even nostalgic, but may be the most dangerous of all. For years, Ed started every morning the same way. 2 slices of toast with butter, sometimes a bagel, or a bowl of instant oatmeal from a packet. It was simple, fast, and familiar. At 74, he felt comfort in routine. But in recent months, Ed had started feeling off, slower to respond, struggling to stay focused. And by mid-morning, he felt tired, distracted, even moody. His doctor ran tests. His daughter worried it was something serious. But the cause wasn't hiding in his brain. It was hiding in his breakfast. White bread, bagels, instant oatmeal, crackers. All of these are refined carbohydrates, stripped of fiber and nutrients. They break down quickly in the body, spiking blood sugar and triggering inflammation throughout the system, including the brain. When blood sugar spikes and crashes repeatedly, it starves the brain of steady fuel, leading to that foggy, unfocused, irritable feeling. Worse, long-term high consumption of refined carbs has been linked to hippocampal shrinkage, the part of the brain that controls memory. One study found that older adults who consumed high glycemic diets were more likely to develop cognitive decline, even without diabetes. Ed never imagined his morning toast could be part of the problem, But once he understood, he made simple changes. He swapped white bread for sprouted grain or whole grain sourdough. He replaced instant oatmeal with steel-cut oats, topped with walnuts and berries. And instead of sugary cereal, he sometimes had eggs and sautéed vegetables. Within weeks, his energy evened out. His mind stayed clearer, longer. His daughter noticed the difference, and so did he. Sometimes it's not a major illness or a rare condition. It's just the daily bread, literally, that's slowly wearing down your brain. Ed still enjoys breakfast every morning, but now it doesn't just comfort him, it protects him. 7 foods, 7 everyday choices. And for millions of people over 60, 7 silent reasons why their brain isn't working the way it used to. Linda's fruit yogurt, Tom's ham sandwich, Sandra's late afternoon coffee, Gerald's freezer meals, Marie's cookie jar, Daniel's bargain fish oil, and Ed's morning toast. None of them were trying to hurt their brain. In fact, most of them thought they were doing something good. But that's what makes these foods so dangerous. They feel normal, harmless, even healthy. And yet, little by little, they can affect memory, clarity, focus, and long-term brain health. But here's the truth. It's not too late to change. The brain is one of the most adaptable organs in the human body. It can heal, it can rewire, it can grow if we give it the right fuel. You don't have to throw out everything in your kitchen. Start small, swap flavored yogurt for plain, check the label on your sandwich meat, move your last coffee an hour earlier. Choose oils with intention, cut sugar by half, find the right kind of fish, and give your breakfast a second look. Because the little things you eat each day are either feeding your future or stealing it. If this video helped you recognize even one habit worth changing, let us know in the comments. What's the first food you're cutting back on or replacing? Don't forget to subscribe for more science-backed storytelling-style health videos made for people just like you. You've only got one brain. Let's help it age with strength, clarity, and purpose.